Shalom. I'd like to start out by giving all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakach, Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of Israel. This is Thamayim in Atlanta, and I have a Daily Mail article which came out June 14th, 2022. And it says Iran suspects Israel killed two of its top scientists by poisoning their food in escalating shadow war after they fell ill and died within days of each other in cities 400 miles apart. It says Iran suspects Israel has poisoned two of its top scientists, the latest to die in an escalating shadow war between the two bitter rivals. And tensions have been increasing between Iran and Israel. And it seems they're running shadow wars and assassinating top members of each other's countries, each other's militaries, but more so, Israel assassinating Iranians. It says Ayub Intizari, 35, and Cameron Agamolai, 31, died just days apart in similar circumstances in towns more than 300 miles apart in central and southern Iran. Intizari, a graduate from the top technical universities, is thought to have worked on the country's missile and drone programs, while Agamolai was a PhD geology student in Tehran, a field of study sometimes linked to the nuclear program. It comes after 4 Revolutionary Guard soldiers died in mysterious circumstances over the course of 3 weeks, and amid warnings from Israel that Iran is closer than ever to developing a nuclear weapon as negotiations to rein in Tehran falter. So those are some pictures of the guys assassinated. It says Intizari is said to have fallen ill in late May, shortly after attending a dinner organized by a long-term acquaintance in his hometown of Yazd, central Iran. He was taken to an intensive care unit at a local hospital as his symptoms worsened before he died on May 31st, the New York Times reported. The acquaintance who organized the dinner is now missing, being hunted by authorities, an Iranian official told the newspaper. Intizari's death was reported by local officials who initially called him a martyr and said his death was an act of biological terror. And so the question is, why does Israel think that they can have nuclear weapons, which I don't think they're officially listed as one of the countries having nuclear weapons, but we couldn't possibly put it past them. But they have these weapons, and they think that no one else can have them. And also, why do they have to have shadow wars when the prophecies say that when Israel returns home to the land, that they will dwell safely? But this is all prophecy starting to play out, and it's a good thing because we're inching closer and closer to the return of Yahweh Shai. I'm going to start out here in Ezekiel because it says that when the Israelites return back to the land of Israel, that they will dwell safely. This is Ezekiel 34 and 28. And they shall no more be a prey to the heathen, neither shall the beasts of the land devour them, but they shall dwell safely, and none shall make them afraid. And for Israel and small hatters to be carrying out a shadow war against Iran, that means they're afraid. And for them to be complaining about their nuclear program developing, that shows that they are in fear. But the prophecies say that when the true Israelites return to the land, none shall make them afraid, and that they'll dwell safely. It also says there will be no more war, according to Isaiah, the second chapter. But, as you know, these are not the people. They are counterfeits. They are pretending to be the Israelites, but they are not. They are actually the Edomites, and specifically, they are the Amalekites, the head tribe of the Edomites. This is Jeremiah 49 and 15. For lo, I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men. This is speaking to the Edomites as a whole. And those small hatters over there are the Edomites. They are Amalek. Verse 16, thy terribleness hath deceived thee. And them waging this secret war, secret assassinations on the Iranians, that's terrible. Poisoning their food. And they're not just poisoning food, they're poisoning the minds of the people through their music and Hollywood. They're poisoning relationships with all their social justice crap. They are poisoning people's wallets with their banking system. They're terrible. And it says it here, thy terribleness hath deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock. And that goes back to the word Caucasian. The self-proclaimed white people are Caucasians. They are the Edomites of the scriptures. That holdest the height of the hill, though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle. And that's a clue there, because their sign throughout history has been the eagle, with the Greeks, the Romans, the Germans, and the Americans having that symbol. I will bring thee down from thence, saith the Lord Yahweh. Also Edom shall be a desolation. Everyone that goeth by it shall be astonished, and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof. And these curses are turning on to them. And people are going to be amazed at their downfall. I'm going to skip down to verse 20, because this is the point. Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord Yahweh, that he hath taken against Edom, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. That least of the flock being the Amalekites, Amalek, these small hatters, the 1948ers. They're going to do something that is going to spark this war to go off, World War III, and it's going to bring all these nations down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, or Jehoshaphat, which means the Lord's judgment. And the Lord is going to judge them there. And then establish his son, Yahushua, back, as well as the Israelites. And that rulership will be forever and ever, with Amalek being at the very, very bottom, even at the bottom of the Edomites themselves. They will be hated and despised among men. And all this terribleness and wickedness that they've been reaping throughout the entire earth, it'll come to an end. But this terribleness that they've been doing, it's going to cause the Iranians to have to reply to them. Can we start at 28? This is 2nd Esdras 15 and 28. Behold, a horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia shall come out with many chariots, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth. that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. So they're going to do something, and it's going to cause these Middle Eastern nations to all join forces. Also, the Carmanians, raging in wrath, shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood. The Carmanians are were the Persians, and the Persians nowadays are being called the Iranians. So the Iranians are the Carmanians. And with great power shall they come and join battle with them. So the Iranians and all these Middle Eastern nations are going to link up in retaliation for something that these small hatters are going to do, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. And then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature. And in Genesis, it tells you that Ishmael was a wild man. And Ishmael goes back to he's the father of the Middle Easterners. Arab actually means mixed or mixture. And so they're actually, some of them are Ishmaelites and some of them are Elamites. And if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them. And so these small hatters are going to do something, and it's what they're doing now with carrying out this shadow war and assassinating high-ranking members of the Iranian military and assassinating their scientists. Eventually, these Middle Easterners and the Iranians are going to have too much. They're going to be fed up with it, and that the war on that front will eventually begin. And so, Lord willing, that was edifying. I'd like to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone, and Shalom to the elect of Israel. Shalom.